when I started this save, I thought the difficult bit, the hard part, would be winning the trophies. That would make sense, right? That would make sense, but nope, it's not. The hard part is just actually getting a new job. Hello everyone and welcome back to more Going Local. It's season 3. We're halfway through and we're still with Celtic. I know, we've done everything. We can leave. We should have left by now. We should have gone to a new job, right? Well, that was the plan, but well, it's not our decision to make, really. It depends on what the game wants us to do, what the game allows us to do, because other jobs don't just grow on trees. They only come about if the AI decides to sack that manager. And well, it's difficult. Let's talk about what's happened, because it's not to say that we haven't been offered jobs. Well, we've been offered 2 jobs, in fact. We'll come on to the second one in a minute, but the first one was one we saw was available at the end of last season, the end of last episode. Eintracht Frankfurt was available. They offered us an interview and we got offered the job as well. If you're following me on Twitter, you'll already be aware of this. I thought about it a lot and I decided to turn the job down. The reason why was because I felt that the squad they had, which has changed quite a bit because it was before the transfer window, was decent. They had some good players, Trapp, Hinteregger. They've made some decent signings in the meantime, to be honest. Gibril Sal as well, very good player. But I felt, given the sort of time limit aspect of the save, we've got 20 years to get all the trophies done, it wasn't worth taking the chance. I felt we could maybe do something in the first season, but it would probably be a bit longer, with 3 or 4 years, which I think is kind of pushing it in terms of getting all these things done. Do I regret this decision now based on what's happened since? Yes, absolutely should have taken this job. Should have gone there. In some ways, I don't regret it because they actually hired Vincent Kompany and he has done a disastrous job and they're currently just above the relegation zone. They were bottom of the league for a good portion of the season. So, I don't know. I reckon we could have done considerably better with the resources on offer, but that was the choice I made. I decided to go on. The reason I decided to go on was because it was the World Cup, the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, and I figured there'd be some jobs as a result of that, and I was kind of right. First of all, the good news is that England won the World Cup, something to look forward to. It was an absolute cracker of a final, 3-3, Dele Alli equalising in the 92nd minute to force extra time. He then proceeded to miss a penalty right at the start of extra time, which would have given England the lead, but they held on, and it went to penalties, and England won the World Cup on penalties. Let's update Gareth Southgate to reflect that sort of newfound status. There we go, a bit more respectful. But anyway, as a result of that, obviously Southgate didn't go, but loads of other jobs became available, and most of them went to managers who are already unemployed. There were a few vacancies that transpired though, one of which was Atalanta. They've hired Gasperini to be the Italy manager. And, we applied for it. We got an interview. We didn't get offered the job. They went with Lucien Favre instead, which kind of swings and roundabouts. It would have been okay. But then there was a job. There was a perfect job that came available. The Porto manager was hired to be the new Portugal manager. And therefore, that left a vacancy at the club who were and still are top of the league. They're 5 points clear and they've got 4 games in hand over Rio Ave. It was perfect. It was in the stars. I applied for it. There was an issue over compensation. I sorted it out with the board. We had an interview. We were the leading candidate. We were the odds-on favourite. The fans wanted us. And as you've already seen, they just hired Ernesto Valverde instead. So, yeah, that would have been that was what I was waiting for. Walking mid-season into a job where you're pretty much guaranteed to win the league already because of the advantage you already have. Absolutely ideal. Absolutely ideal. We didn't get it. And I hate this game. I really do. But there was another job as well, and that job has been offered to us. And that job is Everton. Everton have asked us to be their new manager. And I don't know what to do. Now, there are some big warning signs. Obviously, this is January, but the transfer budget is £200,000. That concerns me a bit. Finances are apparently only okay. That concerns me a bit. They are having a very average season, are Everton. They're in 10th place in the Premier League. Not really. I mean, they could get into Europe, maybe. and they could still get relegated maybe. It's certainly a project. Then the reason I turned down Frankfurt, because I felt it would take too long to contend for major trophies. And I do think this is probably the case with Everton as well. Remember, of course, the rules of the save, we can only really sign English players other than the 2 wildcards if we're in charge of Everton. That's going to be difficult. We've seen in the Norwich save how difficult that is. So I really feel with England, I want to go to one of the top 6 sides, the Super League Snakes, because they have the better reputation, the better money to be able to work with that, and likely a better squad anyway. Everton's squad is decent. They've still got a lot of their original players. I mean, we're only 2.5 years in, so you wouldn't expect too much change. But there seems to be quite a lack of some players, and there's not much money as we've seen. So I don't really know. Now, the interesting thing is they are still in the FA Cup. They're in the 5th round against West Ham. They're still in the Europa League as well against AC Milan in the first knockout round, which is only a one-legged thing because it's the World Cup season. Milan, coincidentally, were one of the teams that helped dump Celtic out of the Europa League this season, just as they did 2 years ago. Ancelotti back in charge as well, former Everton manager. It's a possibility. It is a possibility, but I don't know. My feeling is probably turn it down, and that will most likely therefore mean that season 3 of the save, or we've only got 20 years, is a complete write-off. But that kind of happens sometimes, I guess. It's the risk. I say complete write-off. It won't be a complete write-off because let's check in with how we're doing with Celtic. We're already been knocked out of the Champions League. That was fun. Let's just go to that first. Now, we have actually boosted the Scottish coefficient enough over the last 2 seasons that we actually didn't need to qualify at all. We went straight into the group stage. We're apparently the 3rd seed in this group as well. And this was our reward. City, Barcelona and AC Milan. And yeah, we got 2 draws. It was a disaster. We didn't win the League Cup either, but then neither did Rangers. Ross County beat them in the final, which is good to see. But we're still in the Scottish Cup, and the Scottish Premiership is going as well as you would expect. Even better than last year, if that's even possible. 19 games played, we won all 19 of them. It's pretty ridiculous. We haven't been playing anywhere near as well as last season, but I mean, we're on course for another SPL. So in terms of our reputation, going to Everton now, probably not winning anything, or staying here, probably winning the league, hopefully winning the cup as well, that will boost our reputation probably more. And when it comes to the summer, surely there'll be more jobs available in the summer. I think we were insanely unlucky with how few jobs were available last summer. I mean, it was basically Frankfurt, that was it. Nothing else of the level we needed. That's really unusual, I think. So hopefully this summer there will be more jobs. I think what I've basically convinced myself to turn Everton down. If you're disappointed by that, post a comment telling me I'm an idiot, but this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to turn them down. I've already delayed it twice, so I can't delay it anymore. I think I'm going to turn it down and then just hope we get something at the end of the season. I think if we don't get anything at the end of the season, I will be resigning as Celtic manager. The reason I stayed at Celtic was because I want to ideally be employed the entire time. I really want to get to 1,000 games if that's possible. So staying with a club made sense to me to do that. But I'm not going through another season of this. If we don't get a job in the summer, I'm not going for another season of it. Obviously, Porto would have been absolutely perfection. Porto would have been beyond perfect, the absolute ideal. We didn't get that, and that's kind of the bad luck of these things. But yeah, so in conclusion, we're not going to Everton. So if you're an Everton fan, sorry, we're not doing that. It's not happening. I think with England, as said, one of those top 6 clubs, it's got to be that when it comes to it. Of course, Everton will now need to appoint someone else, and that one will maybe come from somewhere we might want to go to. That might be nice. And of course, someone else may well get sacked from a decent job between now and the end of the season. That will be good. So yeah, this is just kind of a sort of weird, nothing happening check-in episode, because just wanted to make sure we had an episode for today just to explain how things have gone. And this is what the game is like sometimes. When you're doing a save like this, you will have things like this, and it's really frustrating, but that's the situation. Job security, by the way, if there are any other potential jobs available, not really. I mean, Batiste maybe, but not massively. Wolves, we're not going to go to Wolves if we've already turned down Everton particularly. There's not really anything else. End of the season, surely, hopefully there will be, right? Now I'm just going to play Hearts, and then we'll go forward a little bit just to see if who Everton hire, and then if we can, maybe there's a job there. Otherwise, that'll be that. And I will see you next time where hopefully we will have something, even if it is all the way at the end of the season. Oh, and Christopher Ayer is going to Spurs. I forgot about that. They've triggered his release clause. Unless he wants to turn the contract down, yeah, he's going to go. It was a 2-0 win. Pretty standard. I should probably tell you the transfers as well, shouldn't I? Because that's sort of... If I'm watching an FM save, that's the thing I'm most interested in. Here we go. It was a reasonable summer, I think, all things considered, despite the fact I didn't want to be here. The big sale is that we sold Barkas to Newcastle for £23 million, and he has done not very well in the Premier League, it's fair to say. Quite a good price, though. We also sold Sorrow, finally. A few of the fringe players, of course, Griffiths went as well. Signings, obviously we didn't get Ida back, we didn't get Rodrigo back because we couldn't because of the rules. So obviously just Scottish players. Kevin Nisbet was signed from Hibs. He has not done very well. 3 goals. He's no Adam Ida. We also signed Eamon Brophy from St Mirren. He has not done very well. 1 goal. He's no Adam Ida. Goalkeeper Craig McGilvery from Portsmouth. Done all right. Average. He's no Barkas, but he's been all right. O'Donnell's coming as the new right back because Ralston was released. Again, he's not played much, but he's been okay. And 2 youngsters, Finley Robertson, real life youngster, decent prospect. Scott McKellar could be the best centre back in Scottish history. So yeah, he's going to end up coming in. We're going to lose Ayer, so he'll just move up the pecking order. We'll start Jason Kerr, that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's fun. As said, we're going to go forwards just a little bit, just in case Everton decide to create a vacancy somewhere else. And then that will be that for today in this, disappointing season, but not because of how we've been on the pitch. We're also unbeaten for 96 games, so I guess it'll be something if we can get up to 100 games in a row unbeaten in the SPL. That will at least be something. So they have decided on a new manager, and it's going to be Sergei Samak of Zenit St. Petersburg, which doesn't help us in any way, shape or form because we don't need to go to Russia. So thanks, Everton. Brilliant. They're down to 12 now, so maybe we made the right choice. So anyway, we're going to end things there. Unless we want to go to Middlesbrough, we don't want to go to Aberdeen, obviously. There's not really anything screaming out as being likely to come up soon of the ones we really want to go to. Yeah, that's where we're going to end. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment to say I'm an idiot for turning down Frankfurt, I'm an idiot for turning down Everton. Make sure you follow me on Twitter as well, where you get all this kind of inside scoop ahead of the episode. I'll be back next time, hopefully before the end of the season, because hopefully we'll get a new job. If not, we'll be back at the end of the season. We'll wrap up what's happened with Celtic. Hopefully this time there'll be more jobs available, and the jobs that are available that we really, really want will actually hire us. Porto, that would have been absolutely perfect, but yeah, we don't get perfect. We just have to do what the game dictates for us to do. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time, where hopefully it's better news.